And now, a flowchart with
Flow! You know, I always wanted to give back to the community and teach people the ultimate goal that everyone always strives for and talks about, fundamentals. But then they'll ask, what are fundamentals? And then, you know what I'll tell them? If they watch the Floechart series hosted by Flo and try to apply these teachings, hopefully they can learn what fundamentals in fighting games really are. Enjoy! Hello everyone. Welcome to the first of many of the Floechart tutorial series. I know you guys saw the old ones with the Karen and the Vegas and stuff, and those are cool to teach you some beta stuff, you know, get you started, but that's not really what these videos are about. As you heard from the little intro thing, what these videos actually are about, this will be the first in the series, and this one will be trying to teach you how to learn a new fighting game. We're going to talk about like the various backgrounds that you could have. We're going to talk about how to incorporate those backgrounds, and you know, just all these things. So let's get started. First things first is, so the other thing is, this is going to be a little jumpy. You know, like, I'm a scrub with this stuff. I never did this. You know, we're gonna go with it as we go with it. We're gonna flow with it, if you will. Things may be jumbled. I have this little outline thing, but I don't count on it. We'll see what happens. So basically, we're just gonna go with it and see what happens. So first things first. Is this your first fighting game? If it is, this may not be the series for you, because this is more for people trying to get past a plateau, say. They're trying to get past that plateau, whether that's an intermediate plateau or whatever it is, you know. But basically, the best thing I can tell you is do the tutorial for whatever. That's the thing. We're not just talking about Street Fighter 5. This is all fighting games in general, just to learn. Do the tutorial in whatever game it is that you're trying to learn. I'm sure it'll teach you more than enough for basics. It'll teach you how to throw a fireball. It'll teach you how to do a fatality. Whatever it is you need to know, you know, it'll teach you. And once you get the hang of fighting games a little bit more, maybe you can take some stuff from these videos and try and apply it to your game. And, you know, get you to where you want to be. So for the people who have played fighting games before, not even fighting games, just competitive games in general, we're going to break this down into a few different categories, okay? So the first category is going to be, say you came from a different genre of game, like a League of Legends, a Call of Duty, you know, something like that, and you want to play fighting games, you know? Because, you know, you want to beat up your friends, do whatever, play Ken, you know, do what you want to do. So you're coming to this game, and obviously, since you've had a competitive mindset in the past, you're going to want to be competitive in this game. And while you think that a lot of the things that you've learned in other games may not be able to be applied to this, you actually have a decent amount of fundamentals already inside of you because you've played these other games. You just have to learn to apply it. So say you have a League of Legends. Say, I'm not going to say I'm an expert on League of Legends. I know hardly anything about League of Legends. But in regards to that as an example, you understand the concept of footsies. Footsies are just moving back and forth out of their range. It's the same thing. You want to throw that little ice blast with Soraka or whatever it is you want to do? What are you doing? You're moving in and out of their range. You know, there are little things like that that you can take and you can apply. And you might be like, footsies, what's that? But as soon as you can understand that, oh, I've actually dealt with things like this before, you can then apply it to the new game and, you know, it'll help you learn everything that much faster. The next part will be if you... Which one do we want to go with? We'll go with if you played a game like this, like say a Street Fighter 4 to a Street Fighter 5, an MK9 to an MK10, stuff like that, you know, it's not going to be too hard for you because, you know, you're going to go in there, you have a character you may like already, you may understand some of the system already, some of the rules, things like that, and, you know, you'll go with it. And it won't be terrible, but keep listening because there will be more for that. Now, if you played a different type of fighting game, like say a Mortal Kombat to a Street Fighter to a KI, you know, a lot of different things. The way that I learn a new game is, if it's a new system, I will try and find the most, not as much basic character as much as a character that relies on me playing solid to win, rather than gimmicks or, you know, like, you wouldn't go into a Street Fighter 4 and be like, oh, the first character I want to play ever is Viper, you know? That's not a character that's going to teach you about the rules of Street Fighter. You're going to play Viper and you're going to play other characters, you're going to be like, why can't I super jump? What's going on? You know? So you want to start with a basic character that doesn't really bend the rules of the game, but plays by them. That's the way I do it, at least. A lot of this is just going off my experience. Hopefully you can use this and apply it to yourselves, and it'll help you with that. Like I said, I have a lot of notes here. It's kind of all jumbled up and written in FlowSpeak, so I have to decrypt it. It's not the best way, but so yeah. So the next thing you want to do is, once you've played with that character and stuff, and you're learning the engine, you're learning the rules of the game, you know, all these things, you can then try and take what you've learned in other games and apply them to this new game. And, you know, that goes back to the League of Legends example, except it'll be a lot easier for you because there's a lot of crossover in games, you know? Like, you can see something in a new game that may be new to you, but it's actually very familiar at the same time. An example of this is, so, Killer Instinct, okay? One of the biggest strategies in that game was to walk up and beta throw and neutral jump, because there was no crouch tech. Okay, so how can I apply that to a game? Street Fighter 5, another game that just came out without crouch tech. So, if you came from KI to Street Fighter 5, all of a sudden you understand this situation that people will be in, where they'll want to tech a throw, but they have to take a neutral jump. And that's just like a quick, short example. There's a lot of these that go into more nuances and stuff, but that's like the quick, short example. And think, like, as soon as you can apply the things that you've already learned in the previous fighting games that you've played, it'll help you learn this new game even faster. So, after that point, after you're learning the engine, you're learning the rules of the game, you're trying to apply your own strategies, this is the point where you want to go look up videos of people playing this character that are better than you. And you don't want to just copy them. You want to watch the videos and not just emulate what they do, but learn why they're actually doing it. The what is important, but the why is even more important. Because, okay, I lost my headphone. Well, this will be in the outtakes. So we got the headphone back. So, obviously, you have plenty of resources for this. Go to Event Hubs, go to SRK, go to whatever else there is, and read what you need to learn about the game. Because there are things that you won't learn. There are things that you just can't learn about the game that you won't notice. Maybe there's just some little secret engine tweak that you don't know about that all of a sudden you know about, and that makes your other game familiarities work for this game. And it's very helpful. But back to the emulating thing. So you're gonna watch videos of these players. And far too often, like I said, people will watch these videos and be like, oh, that's a cool setup. I'm going to do that. But they learned how to do the setup, but they didn't learn why they're actually doing the setup. Why is this player doing the setup? What advantageous situation does it put him or her in, after the situation? Why does he like this so much? Don't just assume that, oh, all I have to do is do what Infiltration's doing and I'm going to beat everyone. You have to understand why Infiltration is doing what he is doing. Yeah, like, the thing is if you, there's so many players, I don't want to name names, but especially in Street Fighter 4, there were a lot of players that very much learned the what behind how to do things, setups, tech like that, and didn't learn the why. And those players can do good up until a point, but when they face a player that, a really good player, that can understand what they actually are, and they understand that they're just an empty shell, it's not going to be as scary. The scariness is when you don't know what your opponent wants to do. If you understand that it's just an empty shell with some tech, there's nothing to be scared of. You can handle that. Just get past the tech and you're good. You can outplay this person. You're smarter than this person. You've done your homework. You've watched your Floechart series, okay? You know what you're doing. You're obviously here for a reason. So, at this point, you've learned the basic character. You've tried to apply the stuff that you've learned from other games or your other fighting games. Whatever it is, try and apply it. You've learned about the engine, you learned the rules of the game, and they feel comfortable for you. You have watched videos, so you've learned, you know, a little bit of tech here and there, and you've understood why you're using that tech. Why is this a better situation than this? At this point, it's simple. You just have to play as much as possible against all the different kind of characters that you can find. And then you'll learn the differences of each character. You'll learn what makes them a good character, because you'll see why you're losing. Speaking of which, we'll cover that in another episode of analyzing your loss. But you'll see why they're winning, and eventually through this process, you'll probably find a new character that you want to main, that you want to fucking play and everything, you know? And that will be the best way for you to broaden out to find a new character. Which also will be another topic of how to learn a new character. I got a bunch of stuff planned, but I think that's going to be it for the first episode. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys are looking forward to the rest of these tutorials. I have a little thingy written out. We'll see how many of them get made, but hopefully this will be a regular thing. And do all the YouTube stuff, the like and the subscribes and the shares and the hugs. Do it all. I want it all. Just give it all to me. Every single one of it. I just want it all. And I hope you guys liked the videos. There will be more to come. Comments if you liked it. Comments if you didn't like it. Comments if I love you. So that means you. You better comment right there, because I love you. Hope you guys learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys on the next Floechart tutorial series.
And that was a flowchart with
Flow!